Hello, this is your Yahoo Weeps. I'm just gonna kind of not really. Um, gonna kind of talk about mysteries of the Creator. That's what I was thinking of. See, it's really interesting to me how, like, if you look around the world and if you see how people are to each other, some people. I mean, I tend to, I guess, kind of look for this because maybe I'm something of an idealist, and I don't like settling for less for less. For less. I don't like that. So when I see people like mistreating each other, I know that they're adding to the validity of the concept that we are in hell. At least what some people think of as hell, in that it's a place of like misery and suffering and torment and all that kind of stuff. And I see that that's kind of where we are. The word purgatory, the Catholic word purgatory. I'm not familiar with Catholic doctrine and stuff. I know enough to know that they're really off as far as Scripture goes. They can't really proclaim scriptural authority. They can't really proclaim to be following Scripture because they have so many things that are contrary to Scripture and are actually against Scripture. So they're really off. Catholicism. Belief-wise, really off. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, purgatory. So purgatory is a place of purging. A place of purging. I believe that's what the lake of fire is going to be, a place of purging. Um, I believe it is love. The lake of fire is love, but it's also purging. Purging out of us everything that's contrary to good. So the Almighty had to have us have what's contrary to good, have evil, suffering, death, torment, um, torture, sin, um, difficulty, all of that stuff, contrary to goodness itself, like goodness and kindness and love. I think there's so much to it. It's hard to try and work all this stuff out for me sometimes. But anyways, so like helping another person is goodness, good. Torturing another person is not. At least that's my perception. And I think there's some validity to my perception. I think that kind of makes sense. Now I know that there's the overarching context of love, and the contrast between goodness and what's not good, the contrast between love and what's not love, and even what's not love plays into love. Oh man, I hope I'm making sense. I'm kind of just thinking rambling, but purgatory, that's what I was talking about, purging. So this life, I believe, has some purging in it. And we're going through this life for the sake of contrast. At least that's part of it, I believe. We go through this purging of and the contrast to know and experience love and goodness. And so we have to experience some of what's opposite of love and goodness. And I believe, my theory is that when this age is done, that all of our experiences and knowing of what we've known and experienced in this life, we'll be able to see it all together and contrast it to the goodness of the Creator. We'll be able to take all of it together as a whole and contrast it to the goodness that is the Creator. So yeah. So purgatory is basically this life and the lake of fire, I believe. That's what I can tell. This time of purging. But it's so strange to me. Some of what I see is the mysteries of the Creator. His creating the universe, I mean, I'm not worried about those details. But what I see that's really curious is when he has people doing things like basically evil. The whole concept of evil. I mean, rape, murder, torture, cruelty. I mean, just instead of people being kind and caring, and when you meet a stranger, you have to be on the defense to some degree. You can't just automatically trust them and know that they are seeking your good. I mean, doesn't that seem like it would be a sensible way for reality to work? Is that you meet a stranger and you automatically know, you take it for granted that they're wanting to do you good. And you don't need to be on the defense. You don't need to, like, wonder what's going to happen. You don't need to try and see if you can trust the person. You don't need to see if they're going to be an enemy or if they're going to be a threat. You just know that they're going to be doing you good, and you know that you're going to want to do them good. That both of you are going to be seeking out how to do each other good. I mean, doesn't that seem like it would make sense for it to work that way? For everyone to work that way? And for like the concept of like people harming each other, let alone war, would just be absurd and just make people be like, why would you want to do something as stupid as that? That doesn't make any sense. How bizarre. But I know, like, there's the whole scripture verse that talks about how iron sharpens iron, you know? So one man sharpens another. So one person, I mean, of course, not just men, how one person sharpens another. How we're basically growing each other and sharpening each other, sometimes through conflict and adversity. Um, and it can strengthen us, strengthen our character, um, develop, things such as like strength of character and courage, and being able to face adversity. I don't know exactly why that's important, but apparently it is, because we definitely have to deal with it all the time. I mean, some people are made for it. Some people thrive on dealing with adversity, and those kind of challenges. Some people don't. Some people, that's not their thing. They don't thrive on it. It's more of a difficulty for them. That's another well, I like that there's such a wide variety of people, so many different personalities, and of course they clash sometimes. Sometimes they really clash, but all of the various personalities, and then that's curious to me, why there are such conflicts as one nation. I mean, I guess you have like a whole group of people that, for whatever reason, are in conflict with a whole nother group of people. But then you have such variation within that group of people. Each person has their own personality and their own makeup, and so it's curious to me how one group of people can even have so many things in common and agree on things, because there's a lot of people that I don't agree with, and I do feel like I live in a tyrannical world, a world of force and domination, a world of one person against another, and a world of one person, everybody's trying to get ahead, and too often it's at the expense of other people. Not all the time, but too often. And it's just a world of um, exploiting weaknesses, and um, I mean, there's some people that like have the money and power and intelligence and good looks and skills and whatever it is, and those are the people that are like at the top, and then there's all the people at the bottom. And if you're not like really good looking, or or even just good looking, or what people consider good looking, I think that's kind of a fallacy, but because really it's just perception. And I think that the media manipulates perceptions so that people will not be satisfied with how they look, but they want to look like this other person. Um, and I think that they do that for the sake of money and power. It goes back to money. Oh, so much stuff goes back to money, greed, power. Um, just boring. To me, that's just boring stuff. Anyways, um, but yeah, they manipulate your insecurities, desires, your sexuality is, oh, that's a huge one that they manipulate. Yeah, all over the place. Um, and porn is a big part of that. They prey on your sexuality. They make you a loaf of bread. They prey on you. Um, and porn definitely does that. Prey on you. Prey on your sexuality. Abuse and distort. Abuse and distort. Abuse and distort for the sake of money and power. Money, a lot of it is just money, but power is a big one. And stepping on others to get ahead. Stepping on others to get ahead. Yep, using others to get ahead. Using and discarding others to get ahead. It's all over the place. I mean, I'm not saying that's all of it, but I'm saying that's a huge element that's there. Anyways, this is my little rant. My indulgence. So, yeah, so purgatory. So we're being purged. But it's strange to me. It still doesn't make sense to me why there is things like conflict and evil and suffering. It's still odd to me. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it kind of doesn't. That's another thing. Experientially, there's a lot of things that don't make any sense to me. But head knowledge, I can understand it. In my head, I can understand it, but experientially, it makes no sense at all. The mysteries of the Creator. So he's going to bring good. He has people that I've seen like YouTube trolls and YouTube just saying really nasty, horrible things. I posted a video of a girl that basically got bullied off YouTube by a bunch of trolls who were just being really vile and trashing and kind of disgusting and low lifes, lack of decency. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, if somebody sees me doing that, let me know. Because I don't want to be a lowlife. I have to look at myself in the mirror in the morning. And who wants to do that? You look at yourself in the mirror and go, I've been a lowlife. Not fun. I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, I like challenging, intellectually challenging. But as far as just like attacking the person, what a lowlife. Anyways, why was I talking about that? Yeah, the people making these trashy comments. So I'm just like, I know the Creator has purpose for them to do that, just like He's purposed everything. And that mystifies me, because I'm just like, genocide? Really? Genocide? Infanticide? Torture? Really? This has to be part of our reality? Seriously? Wouldn't have been my choice. I wouldn't have done that. I mean, I hope I wouldn't have. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. Because there was a time where I was so disgusted with reality in the world that I wanted it all to just go. Go. Yep. Wanted it all to just go. So I can't say what I would have done, but I look at it and I think, now, does love really require that? Does love really require genocide and rape and mutilation and torture and all these horrible things? Let alone, like, I mean, cruelty is bad enough in my mind. I mean, that's a violation of love. That's a violation of love. All these things are violation of love. But apparently love requires that there be violations of love so that we can know and experience what love really is and know the difference and have the contrast. I mean, there's probably more to it. That's just as far as I've gotten, as far as what I see, is that it's for the sake of contrast. But, I don't know. Strange. Strange to me. But I mean, it makes sense, but it's still odd. I mean, I look at my life, and I'm just like, I know all the crap that I've had in my life, but I know that there are people that have had it worse. And that tears me up. I can't handle that. I don't like that. I really don't like that. But yeah. Mysteries of the Creator. Love. I'm trying to think of mysteries. Mysteries of the Creator. Well, I know, He says, as high as the heavens are above the earth, so are my thoughts above your thoughts. So, as high as the heavens are above the earth, I'm not sure if people have been able to measure that yet, but it's like beyond comprehension. It's beyond imagining. So he's basically saying, the way I think about things is so far beyond what you can understand and what you comprehend that you just can't do it. But he made us that way. He made for us to be that way right now, so that we do have that extreme limitation. Extreme limitation. We have tons of limitations. Very odd. Very curious. So I know that's a mystery about him, and I know that he it talks about his strange work that he does. I can't remember the exact passage, but that he does things that to us don't seem like they make sense, like they're very reasonable, rational, logical, sensible. But I'm convinced that the world that we live in is actually insane, and that the um, the rules that we have for thinking and the way people think and everything, there is like logic and rationality and beauty and um, artistic, being able to view things, the honesty of art and the honesty of poetry. Um, but I still think the reality is kind of insane, and I think that's evidenced in torture, rape, murder, cruelty, child abuse, bullying, people being mean to each other instead of like seeking to benefit each other. All of these things. I mean, that's my evidence for that. This world is insane, and that we're in a hell as close as we're ever gonna get to the traditional concept of hell. Um, So, how was I talking about that? Talking about the world insane. Oh yeah, the way the world operates is insane. The way the world functions is insane. Um, the structure of reality, to me, is insane. But I know ultimately, um, I can ultimately see at least a little bit of its purpose. Puppy, quit. Sorry. I can ultimately see at least a little bit of its purpose in that it is giving us that contrast, that necessary contrast for us to grow. Because this whole life, however long you live, I believe that this life is basically like being in the womb. Because I believe that this universe is like a womb of the Creator, a womb that He has created to grow His children. So we're still in the womb. This whole life, I believe, is being in the womb. A really odd metaphor when I think about it, because all of the things that go on in this world and in this life. But I do think that this is just like, we haven't even gotten into the real reality yet. We're still in the womb. So this whole life, you're still in the womb. You're not even out in the real reality yet, I believe. That's the way I kind of see it. But it is just strange. But I mean, I know that everything here is temporary, so I really think that there's something to that. I don't think I'm the only one that has a longing for solidity and something that lasts, something that's not just going to be temporary and here today, gone tomorrow, and you have to enjoy it while you can, because next thing you know, it's going to be gone, and you age, and you got to enjoy your youth while you can, because it's going to be gone soon, and you're going to age, and eventually your body's going to deteriorate, and eventually you're going to die. I'm not the only one that longs for like something that'll last. That longs for, I don't think I'm the only one that longs for something that'll last. That longs for love, like real love. Like love that's there and that's not going to go away. Love for who you are. Love that sees you for who you are and adores you and just thinks you're wonderful. I'm not the only one that wants that. I know I'm not. But since the Creator exists, I've done this in a previous video where I show that I show to some degree. I mean, there's a lot more I could go into with it, but I show that the Creator, it's easier for this reality to not exist than for the Creator to not exist. He is the most necessary of anything. So the creator exists, and I've gone into other videos on why I believe he's good, and since I believe he's good, then the longings that we have, he's placed them there, and some of the longings may be distorted, or they may be something that's there until a better longing comes along to replace that longing. But the longings that are there, he's placed there, and I don't think he's placed them there just for frustration, just for unfulfillment, just for dissatisfaction. I don't think he's placed them there for that. I think he's placed them there um, to fulfill, especially the good ones. But like I said, I mean, some of them may be there um, for the purpose of growth and the purpose of testing and the purpose of learning, and so those may not get fulfilled. But I do believe that based on all the things that I've found and who he is, that he would not give those longings and just leave you with unfulfillment and dissatisfaction and frustration without giving you something better at whatever point in time he chooses to do it. So, yeah. Yeah. So I think those are some mysteries. I mean, there's probably more. In fact, if you can think of any mysteries of the Creator and that I haven't touched on, please leave them in the feedback comments. For you know, I'm asking for my own benefit, but I think other people would appreciate it too. I'm hoping. Yeah. So any mysteries of the Creator that you can think of, because the ones I can think of primarily have to do with like evil, suffering, and why he's made people the way he has, and why the world is in a state of confusion, and why it's seems like it's been in a state of confusion for very, very, very long time, and why there's war and cruelty and things contrary to love, because things contrary to love seem like they should not be part of reality. They don't fit. They don't belong. Um, they're unnatural, and the fact that they can be natural shows that our world is psychotic and insane. Um, wow, am I forgetting anything? I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because you have Yeshua, who was the chosen one of Yahweh, to be the embodiment of his Torah, his instructions, his character. So he was the human being that Yahweh chose, the Yahweh the creator. Yahweh means he exists. However you pronounce it, Yahweh, Yahweh. Excuse me, Yahweh is my best understanding of how I pronounce it. Some people pronounce it Yahuwah, Yehovah, Yehovah. But you know who I mean. He's the self-existent one. He exists, and he his character was embodied in Yeshua, the man Yeshua. People know, well, people call him Jesus Christ, but his name Yeshua means Yahweh is salvation, Yahweh is rescue, and Christ comes from Christos, which comes from Mashiach. Christos is Greek, Mashiach's Hebrew, and it means the anointed one, meaning he's anointed for a special purpose and a special office. So yeah, he was the anointed one to be a Yahweh's representative, Yahweh's spokesman, Yahweh's means of redemption for all of humanity. So a human being was the means of redemption for the rest of humanity, but Yahweh was the one that accomplished it. So ultimately, Yahweh is our redemption and our rescue and salvation. But Yeshua is the means. Yeshua, we all go through Yeshua to get to Yahweh. But it is pretty awesome that he chose him to be his representative and then to show us the way. And the way that he showed us was being crucified or tortured to death, and dying on the Stauros, which, whether it's a stake or cross, I don't even really care right now, but it was an execution instrument, and he was executed to death, and he showed us that that's what Yue desired of him, and he willingly, purposefully went through with it. He purposed to go through with this, being tortured to death. And then, after a few days of being dead, he rose to life. He came back to life, resurrected to life, and conquered death. And that's what's in store for us, because we're going to follow in his footsteps. I do believe. So it's all just mysterious to me. I can mentally comprehend it to some degree, but it's still mysterious. This whole life is, of course, this whole life has always been kind of mysterious to me. This whole reality and world, it never made sense to me. Never made sense. Strange. That's my dog. He's hacking. Yeah. So feel free to leave feedback, comments. Whatever you choose. Thank you very much for watching. Hope I've said something worthwhile. Well, yeah. Thanks, au revoir, do svidania, salam, sabaydi, auf Wiedersehen, ni hao, sayonara, buenas noches, buenos dias. Adios. Bye.